Japan, an island nation floating at the eastern edge of Asia. Once, this land developed its unique civilization slowly but steadily, passing through the Jomon period, where people lived in harmony with nature, and the Yayoi period, which brought rice farming and the rise of tribal conflicts. And now, history surges into an even more turbulent era. What begins here is the story of Japan's true dawn, a time swirling with myth-like legends and raw, bloody power struggles. Let us embark on a 1,000-year journey toward the origin of the modern Japan we know today and the roots of the brilliant samurai. The mystery of giant tombs and an unknown religion. The Kofun period, late 6th century. About 1,500 years ago, during the Kofun period, the powerful royal authority that had united the small factions of the Yayoi period was building massive, keyhole-shaped tombs known as Kofun, one after another. Rivaling the pyramids of Egypt, these colossal structures were symbols of the absolute power held by the rulers of the time. However, this era of giant stones would come to a sudden end, triggered by an unknown teaching arriving from across the sea. This was the introduction of Buddhism. For the Japanese people of that era, who had always revered invisible nature spirits and countless local gods, the sight of a golden, shining Buddha statue was shocking. Should we accept this new god or cast it out? Amidst this nation-dividing debate, a pivotal figure stepped onto the stage of history, Prince Shotoku Taishi. He became a devout follower of Buddhism, seeking to unite the country under these new philosophical teachings. Yet, conflict with the opposition intensified, eventually exploding into a violent war between two powerful clans. The pro-Buddhism faction emerged victorious and seized absolute power. But this very concentration of control would trigger the next major incident. Coup d'etat and the birth of the nation's name. The Asuka period, 7th century to early 8th century. The year is 645 AD. In the dead center of the imperial court, a shocking coup d'etat takes place, the assassination of a ruling dictator. This grand reform, later known as the Taika Reform, was led by Prince Naka no Oe. He adopted the advanced governance systems of their massive neighbor, China, the Tang dynasty, and pushed through a drastic transformation to create a strong, law-based nation centered around a single leader, the emperor. This marked the shift to a Ritsuryo state, where citizens were registered and taxes were systematically collected. Here lies a fascinating, lesser-known historical fact. It is believed that during this period of massive reform, the people discarded the old, ancient name of Wa and officially began using the name Nippon for the very first time. Furthermore, the title of the ruler officially changed to Tenno. This was a desperate, high-stakes diplomatic strategy to declare to China, the superpower of Asia, "We are not your vassals. We are an equal, independent nation." The Golden Buddha and the Invisible Terror. The Nara period, 8th century. In the 8th century, the capital moved to Nara, Heijokyo. It was a golden, cosmopolitan metropolis, vibrant with cultures flowing all the way from Persia and India via the Silk Road. Deeply wishing for national peace, Emperor Shomu decided to build the Great Buddha of Todaiji, one of the largest bronze statues in the world. This project mobilized an immense workforce, equivalent to nearly half the population of Japan at the time. It was the absolute pinnacle of their high-tech engineering. Yet, beneath the surface of this brilliant society lay a terrifying darkness. A mysterious smallpox epidemic and catastrophic famines struck one after another, claiming the lives of countless people, from high-ranking nobles to commoners. The people of that time did not blame science. They genuinely believed this was the curse of Onryo, the vengeful spirits of those who had died harboring deep resentment from political betrayals. The true purpose behind building the Great Buddha was a massive national project to save the country from this invisible, terrifying curse. The Elegant Court and its Shadow Rulers. The Heian period, 9th to 11th century. In the year 794 AD, fleeing from the shadow of the curses, the capital was moved to Kyoto, Heian-kyo. This marked the beginning of the Heian period, a 400-year era where unique national culture flourished, valuing beauty above all else. In particular, the creation of kana, a phonetic script developed by simplifying Chinese characters, allowed court women to play a leading role in literature. Murasaki Shikibu, the author of The Tale of Genji, regarded as the world's first novel, is a prime example. The layered colors of the 12-tiered silk robes, Juni Hitoe, the romantic exchange of poetry, and the deep appreciation for cherry blossoms and autumn leaves. This was the birth of miyabi, the quintessentially Japanese aesthetic of courtly elegance. The men who ruled this graceful world did not fight with swords. Leaders like Fujiwara no Michinaga maintained power through regency politics, Sekan Seiji. They married their daughters to the emperors, and when a child was born, they placed the young prince on the throne, ruling from the shadows as the maternal grandfather. It was a highly sophisticated psychological game of bloodlines. However, while the nobles were immersed in elegant romances and art in Kyoto, the countryside was falling into complete ruin. To protect their lands from bandits, local provincial people began taking up arms. These men would eventually evolve into the specialized warrior class that would overturn history, the samurai, the dawn of the samurai, the fall of Heian, and the endless journey. 12th century. The 12th century. The words and political conspiracies of the nobles could no longer contain the rebellions in the provinces and the chaos of the nation. Finally, the provincial military force they had long looked down upon, the samurai, was dragged onto the center stage of history. After a brutal civil war, a final, decisive naval battle took place amidst the rough waves of the Seto Inland Sea, sinking the old, elite ruling faction into the depths of the ocean. The victorious leader, Minamoto no Yoritomo, established Japan's very first samurai military government, the Bakufu, in the eastern city of Kamakura, far away from the nobles of Kyoto. Here, let us reflect on Bushido, the way of the warrior, a concept widely known across the world. Overseas, it is sometimes misunderstood as a frightening ideology of blind self-sacrifice that devalues human life. However, its true foundation was born precisely because the battlefield was a place where death could come at any moment. It was an ultimate form of self-control, a code to value one's honor, to never lie to one's comrades, and to live beautifully. It was not a set of rules for throwing life away, but a profound aesthetic on how to live and die with dignity in a harsh world. From the giant stone tombs to the golden Buddha, the elegance of the Kyoto court, and finally, the blade of the samurai. Though the forms changed over a millennium, a singular, unique spirit has continuously flowed through this land. Yet, this new warrior government, born in Kamakura, was by no means a peaceful ending. From here, Japan would plunge into the even more turbulent Kamakura period and head toward the Muromachi period, an era where breathtaking cultural evolution and chaotic warfare coexisted. The endless journey of history woven by this island nation at the edge of the world, the next battles of the samurai, and the new destiny that awaits Japan is a story for another time.